Hello and welcome to episode 146 of Controller Club, the friendly face gaming space, a podcast where three, sometimes two friends from three different continents share in one love, and that is video games. My name is Kleinfeld, and on today's show, we're going to be asking the question, is Steam coming to Xbox? As well as diving into some very early Assassin's Creed Shadows impressions and doing a blind ranking of the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4 exclusives, first party games. It's going to be a lot of fun. But before we get to all that, let's introduce my co host for today. No, Tom Drew is not here. It is just me and journalist extraordinaire, the Australian abroad, Canadian in trading, the mother of daughters, because she's got some adopted daughter ladies. Lauren Rouse. Lauren, how are you? How are things and what's going on?
I am doing very well. I just hit 7 months in Vancouver, which is crazy. That's over half a year that I've been here. It doesn't feel real. So I've just been kind of having an existential crisis about that in the last week.
Time is a flat circle. It means absolutely nothing. It feels like just yesterday you got here, and yet, yeah, 7 months goes by in a flash. I was thinking about that yesterday in terms of like time. It was, I guess, 6 months ago was October, and that doesn't like that feels like it was just yesterday. I don't know why I was thinking about October. I think it was like something to do with video game releases, and I'm like, that's 6 months ago. Holy moly, that's a long time ago. But yeah, here we are, almost in April. Absolutely crazy. Minecraft movie only 2 weeks away. Very excited for that. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We are here to get into the news and get into our blind rankings. So let's do it. Lauren Rouse, Tom isn't here, so you've got to do the news jingle. Give
Oh
us
my
the
God.
news we choose theme, pretty please.
It's the news we choose. Yeah.
Okay, I like it. I like it. We'll jump into my story first, and then we'll go to you. Both Xbox themed this week, which is very interesting. My first one here is Xbox or is Steam coming to Xbox? I guess is the better question. This comes from Michael Kripe at IGN. Microsoft has leaked what appears to be an in development Xbox UI update that allows players to see all the PC games they've installed through Steam, the Epic Games Store, and more. The company prematurely pulled back the curtain on what could eventually be a feature for players to take advantage of in a recent blog post titled, quote, opening a billion doors with Xbox, end quote. As spotted by The Verge, the post included a seemingly innocuous image of Xbox Series X/S consoles alongside phones, tablets, television screens, and more. Closer to inspection, however, reveals that some of the device's screens highlight a small tab labeled Steam. It's easy to miss, but undeniably strange, considering Valve's digital PC storefront doesn't really share any functionality with Microsoft gaming hardware in this way. The image has also now been removed from the post itself, signaling that the Xbox team wasn't interested in leaving it up after a few keen eyed fans noticed Steam's inclusion. The Verge's sources said the company is indeed working on an update that would connect users not only to their Steam library, but to other PC storefronts as well. If accurate, it would mean players could see every game installed on their PCs and which storefront they've purchased them through. The site said Microsoft is in the quote early stages when it comes to the development of the potential UI update, so don't expect to see an update rollout, if ever, until more concrete information is revealed. Okay, Lauren, we've been talking about Xbox's changing strategy, I'll call it, over the last little while. Last week we talked about there was leaks that a new Xbox kind of handheld is coming later this year, the next Xbox console in 2027. This seems to be kind of the latest step in that process. There's been rumors about no more red tape. Phil Spencer is saying there is no line they are not willing to cross anymore. The Xbox brand is completely changing. So, one, do you think that this is real? Do you think that this Steam integration, these other PC stores coming to Xbox is a real thing? And two, do you think it's a good idea if that were to happen?
I can't see many downsides just from like an amateur point of view. Um, because Xbox has always pushed, like it's been, or at least recently it's been pushing Game Pass as I think kind of its main revenue stream. Like console sales are kind of on the decline. We know this. They're also owned by Microsoft, who put a lot of software in PCs and are the maker of many PCs. So to see an integration between those two things makes sense to me. But yeah, having Game Pass on other devices makes sense, and having therefore if you can also have Steam libraries and things on your Xbox, is that what this is?
Yeah, you can access your Steam games. You can, I guess, essentially access Steam on your Xbox.
I think that's a good thing. Like for the average gamer to just have a localized hub for everything. I've said it before, like if I could have all my games on one console, like that's the dream, right? I don't have to buy multiple consoles. I don't have to carry multiple ones around. I don't think we're ever going to get to that point. But a bit of a more of an integration with um, like Xbox and Steam and Epic Games and things like that makes sense to me. You can play Xbox games on PC. Makes sense that you could play PC games on Xbox. I think this is probably a good move. Like they need a radical shift, I think, given for the past generation for them, and this is probably the beginning of that.
To play, I think I agree with you, but to play devil's advocate here, I have seen some diehard Xbox fans who've been with this brand for a very long time kind of saying, like, well, if they're going to do this, doesn't this devalue the Xbox store? Like, I'm never going to buy a game on my Xbox store again because I can just get my Steam games or buy things on Steam or Epic Game Store and play them on my Xbox. Do you think that's the case, or or are we just like thinking backwards here, thinking with a console wars mindset, I guess you would say, and this is just their very forward thinking with a move like this and in bringing down these barriers?
So the complaint is that things will be too expensive on the Xbox store, so they won't buy them anymore.
Well,
Is
I
that what
think
they're
it's
saying?
more not even the expensive. I mean, Steam games they do tend to be not cheaper all the time, but just like the sales and stuff. But just by bringing in another marketplace, you do, I guess, devalue the marketplace that you currently have because you're admitting defeat essentially.
I guess so, but I feel like that's a good thing for the consumer that you can now buy something potentially for cheaper and have it on multiple fronts. And if it goes backwards and you can have your Xbox games on a PC, like I'm not seeing too much of an issue. And like the Xbox games that you already have purchased from the Xbox store, they're not going anywhere. You've already put the money in, so I don't really understand why. I get it, like Xbox purists of like I've put my time and money into this console. I'm sure if it was PlayStation doing it, we might have some thoughts as well. But I just think as a consumer, like more centralization is a good thing.
On the topic of PlayStation, you want to know what games you can buy on Steam. You can PlayStation games. You can get God of War Ragnarok. You can play The Last of Us. What do you think this means? Are we going to be seeing a PlayStation Studios logo potentially showing up on an Xbox console? Because if you can play all your Steam games on your Xbox, then you can play PlayStation games.
I'm sure there'll be limits to this. I'm
You
not sure
think
we're
so?
going to get that.
I don't know how that works. Maybe I'm just like I don't know. I just don't have the knowledge base to say whether or not it could happen. Like if you have the marketplace, can they
But
limit the
also, those
platforms that
PlayStation
the
games that are on Steam are ones that have been specifically ported to PC. It's not like it's every single PlayStation game that goes on Steam and is available on PC. Whereas a lot of Xbox games are on both from the get go. And I don't think PlayStation works that way. But because they do, if they have to fully go in through a whole other process, which is why we're only just now getting Last of Us Part 2 remastered on Steam. I don't know if that's come out yet, but I'm interested to see how that goes because the first game did not port very well. So, and that's the thing. It's like, given, I mean, I know that Spider Man on PC was reviewed very well and apparently runs great, but The Last of Us didn't. So I'd be like, well, I'm not going to play it on Steam. I'll be playing it on PlayStation where it's like natively running well.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what if they can PlayStation being them. If PlayStation can like limit this in any way because I don't know if they necessarily want their games on another platform like that. I mean, they put the games up on Steam thinking they're going to be on PC. You're opening up to a PC market. I don't think you're taking away any customers by doing that. But to have them directly on Xbox, directly on the competition, might be a little bit of a different story. But that is if
But you're
they
still
even
buying the game. It's still
ex-
going to
you're
them.
still buying the game, and that's kind of where my head is at right now. It's we've kind of seen not necessarily a plateauing of consoles, but I don't know if we're ever going to hit the peak that like the PS4 was sales wise. Like that feels like we can get close to that, but I feel like that is kind of where the gaming market maxed out or is maxing out. And so why not like try and expand? These aren't new games. It's not like Intergalactic is going to be available day one on someone's Xbox or via Steam. But they're games that you've already kind of you, Lauren, me, Tom, the PlayStation diehards, whatever, we've already played them. We've done God of War Ragnarok. We've done The Last of Us Part 2. So like you kind of made your money on the PlayStation audience, so why not like
Exactly.
open it up a little bit? But I can also see like hoity-toity buttoned up PlayStation going, not no, there will be no God of War on a Microsoft console. No, thank you.
Maybe, but they might come to the party. Like, I would say maybe at first there will be. This is still, we don't know how, if this is actually happening, if they've negotiated it in the background. But it's also like, I mean, Xbox is very much more willing to be like, okay, we're going to put that on PlayStation soon. And I think Indiana Jones is probably one of the biggest examples of that, for that to be coming, I think, in April, or the rumors are April,
Yeah, in
which
just a
is
couple of
like
weeks.
soon. That surprises me. If it was sort of me, I guess I would be having like maybe a year exclusivity, just to like get your squeeze the juice as much as possible, from the people who are like like on the hype train. But after it's been a few years, after you've had like sales are dropping off, yeah, put it on other platforms, let people play.
I think that the Xbox games coming over to PlayStation is a bit of a different conversation.
Mm.
I think we're very close to day and date stuff happening. Like, I would not be surprised if I think Avowed is going to come to PlayStation very soon. I would not be surprised if Gears of War E Day, whenever that comes out, is like day and date, PC, PlayStation, Xbox, like that. Xbox is playing a different game right now. They are completely changing their strategy, and so I I think we are very close to a future where those barriers are broken down. And once that happens, how does PlayStation even view Xbox and that sort of thing? Because they've competed with them for so long. I think they're going to have to kind of recenter themselves in how they view this company that they've fought against for the last like 25 years.
I mean, it's a bigger conversation, but like, then what is the console war? Because people no longer are you worrying about what each console has exclusive, like games wise. You're worrying about what the actual hardware has to offer, right? That's all that they can compete with. So is it going to be like, oh, you can, it's really portable and it's really powerful, or is it like, no, this is like the most highest graphical power that you can have, or maybe it's like something like the Switch where it's like you can dock and carry it. Like, there's all these different things that they're going to have to offer, I think, hardware wise, to suddenly compete versus software wise.
I think that's exactly where we're going. I think that is the future of this industry. I have a feeling PlayStation is going to hold on as tightly as it can to the so-called console war, but everyone else, Nintendo's just doing their own thing. They don't like, I don't want to say they don't even matter because I love my Nintendo stuff, but they're in a completely different market. Xbox is very much doing that same thing. They're going to be in a completely different market, it seems.
Mm.
And we are, I think, very, very close to a future where these are just easy to use PCs. That's all consoles will end up being. And you can play just about everything everywhere.
And I'm okay with that because I don't
So
have
am
the
I.
bandwidth to upkeep a PC.
So am I. I think the console war idea is silly. We've had some quotes recently from some executives saying that like they very much played into the console war for a very long time, and that has kind of dissipated in recent years, especially as like with this generation, the PlayStation 5 has just like completely trounced the competition, being the Xbox Series X, and that console war idea has kind of disappeared because of that. I am not opposed to my PlayStation games going elsewhere. More people playing more games in the industry that we're in right now, it can only be mean good things.
Yep. Hopefully the revenue is going towards the developers at some point rather than the top, but we don't know.
One game that will be everywhere when it comes out is Hollow Knight Silksong, Lauren. So we'll go to your story here because we've got some news, I guess, if you want to call it that.
I mean, I questioned whether to even entertain this, because a lot of people are like calling bullshit on this. But listen, we've had Xbox mention Hollow Knight Silksong in an official blog post. It was a post this week about its id at Xbox initiative. And basically, there's a small paragraph at the end where they say, quote, looking ahead, our lineup is incredible with upcoming games like Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Descenders Next, and FBC Firebreak to play across the whole Xbox universe. And of course, Hollow Knight Silksong too. So this is kind of everyone was very excited because they're like, "Oh my gosh, they've acknowledged its existence," because Hollow Knight Silksong was announced, I think, first in 2019, so we're looking at 6 years ago now, and there really hasn't been much to go off since. It's kind of a long-running joke to be like, "It's coming out this year," and then it doesn't. But adding to this, there was a leaker whose name is XTAS1S, I think. Anyway, apparently they're notable. They came out with this information saying that they've heard that the release of Silksong on Xbox Game Pass is scheduled or planned for June 2025, quote, at the latest. So that's in 3 months. They're saying that Silksong is going to be out. And I just wanted to get our take on this. Do we think this is happening? Do we think it's just going to be another hype cycle that dies and nothing comes from it? A lot of leaks about the Nintendo Switch that were coming out proved to be true. I wonder if we're going to get a similar cycle for this, but I'm not familiar with this leaker, so I don't know how much salt to be taking at this point. But what do you think, Klein?
I think that it's happening. I'm gonna sound so dumb when it doesn't happen. I think that it's finally happening. This game has to come out eventually. Things have to come out. Like we're getting GTA 6 this year, finally. Like it's things actually have to eventually make their way out or they're outright canceled. This isn't canceled. They've been working on this thing. They're gonna continue working on this thing. I think that before June 2025 makes sense. And I have a feeling in the next, I'll say 10 days, we will see and hear it. I have a feeling it's going to be at the Nintendo Direct and it's a Switch 2 launch game because what else is supposed to come by the end of June 2025? Probably the Switch 2. So I think it's finally real. I have seen some people wondering, like, oh, they who runs the Xbox the Xbox Wire blog or whatever? Is it some Microsoft employee who just like looked at their upcoming projects and was like, "Oh, yeah, that one's coming soon. That one, oh, and we'll throw that one in there as well." No, like a lot of the people who run Xbox Wire are all like former games journalist people. They know what the name Hollow Knight Silksong means. You don't just throw it out there willy
Yeah.
nilly. There's been a reason we haven't heard about it in so long. So I think it's coming. I think it's going to come soon. It'll be everywhere, and finally, it'll be over. The unicorn will be like we'll have it. The white whale will have been slain. Like we will have done it. Um, and I think we're going to hear about it very very soon.
I think everything you've said makes sense, and I would agree with that. There is, I think, going to be a flurry of games coming out before the potential GTA 6 looming window. To be fair, I don't know how much crossover there is between Hollow Knight Silksong players and GTA players, but regardless, I think everyone's moving from that slot. And the summer period makes sense. The Switch period makes sense. I just wondered if they would have a bit more of a lead to try and market the thing, more than 3 months. But maybe that's just better. Maybe there's some research out there that's proven the sooner you announce it, the better. Like look at Split Fiction. We heard about it at the Game Awards. It came out 3 months later. It's one of the biggest games of the year so far. So it could be that just like, and Nintendo does it too, just like shortening. Like they announce games when they're ready. They start marketing them when they're ready, when they have release dates, and then they just come out and they tend to be pretty good. The only thing is that they announced this 6 years ago, so we've just been waiting since then.
I know you say like they maybe they want a longer or would potentially want some sort of like extended promotional cycle, but I feel like the fan base has been promoting this game for 6 years. Like they haven't had to do any advertising because every time
True.
any single of video game event since 2019 has come up, you have hundreds of people on Twitter, hundreds of people on Blue Sky, people on YouTube doing whatever, going, "Silk Song's coming, and I can't wait." And
Mm.
just like of the games coming out this year, I actually think that Hollow Knight Silksong, funnily enough, might have to worry about GTA 6 the least because like it could come out within a couple days of GTA 6 and I still think people would play it. Like it has kind
Yeah.
of cemented itself as this like cult object because it has been so long that I have a feeling that no matter when it comes out, it could do a shadow drop and people would still like rush out and play it.
I think so too. I think they're completely different ideas, but I really am like liking your idea that it's going to be tied to the Switch too. That seems like a
Mhm.
very strong opening game, like opening launch title for the Switch too, and I think that could like Even though it's owned by Xbox, like, and it's going to be on Xbox Game Pass. They are owned by Xbox,
No,
right?
no, it's just a partnered indie. They are not owned by
Oh,
Xbox
okay.
in any way. No,
Oh, well, in
Team
that case,
Cherry's completely independent.
gotcha. Oh, okay. Well, in that case, yeah, it all makes sense to be coming out
Hmm.
around then. Because I also think out of Xbox's developer direct, some of their exclusives, there weren't any past May, I don't think. So the rest of their slate is looking, we don't really know. So this could be one of
Hmm.
the next things for them.
Yeah, and they continue to push it. I think this might be a Game Pass title whenever it does eventually come, because that partnership has
Mm.
been, or that deal was worked out literally years ago. So when it does come, it's going to be on Xbox Game Pass as well. I think that June 2025 will be Hollow Knight. I think it'll be Switch 2. We've gotten a bit more news about the Switch 2 like over the last week. There was I'm trying to remember the game. There was this like cute 3D platformer that put out a press release saying that it would be coming on June 26, 2025 to PlayStation, PC, Xbox, and Nintendo Switches. So I think that
We're all
I
crazy at this point.
I know. I have a feeling that by I guess June 26th,
Yeah.
2025, the Switch 2 will be in our hands and we'll be playing Hollow Knight Silksong
Yes. Well, we'll know hopefully in 10 days.
very soon. I can't wait. I'm so like every day I wake up just like, oh man, the Switch 2 Direct is
Yeah.
mere like weeks, well, I guess days away at this point.
It
It's gonna
felt
be awesome.
so long away when they announced it, and now it's like, oh, it's really soon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we'll know, and we'll be able to pre-order, and it's gonna be fantastic. But that's gonna do it for the news this week. Lauren, you're gonna have to give me that outro as well before you take a sip of that tea.
Every time. It's the news we choose. Yeah.
We now jump over to a PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 exclusive blind ranking. You might be wondering, why the heck are we doing this? Well, Lauren Rouse posted in our group chat earlier this week. I guess it was from the PlayStation blog, was it? Did they put this up? A
I think so.
kind of bracket that fans could do of a bunch of PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 exclusives to figure out which one is your favorite. And so we thought, hey, like let's do a spin on that and do a blind ranking. If you don't know what a blind ranking looks like, all the kids are doing it on TikTok. It's a lot of fun. It is, I think, the empirically most scientific way to build a ranking. Basically, how it works is you make a list of more things than you have slots in this ranking. We're doing a top 10 today, and you put it into a random name picker, and whatever comes up, you have to place it on that list without knowing what could come after, and only knowing what could come before. So you do want to, there's a little bit of strategy here, but also if something comes up that you think, hey, like we need to fill the top spot with this right now, you could, it could bite you in the butt by the end of it, but it might also be the smartest decision. So I've assembled a list of every PlayStation first party game from the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, except for one, or I guess a few, but one franchise. And I want to ask you before we get into it, Lauren, how we should go about including this franchise if we wanted to include this franchise. PlayStation has a yearly franchise as a part of their first party. That is MLB The Show. I don't know if we put it on the list. Like everything else is there. I don't know if we put it as just a franchise name. I didn't want to put every year because it would just
Mm,
significantly like change the odds of what could show up and what couldn't. I don't know.
sure. I can tell you where it's going if it shows up.
I think the MLB The Show franchise is actually like really good, but it wouldn't, I think, hit super high on the list. Okay, hit super high. That's good. That's a baseball metaphor. Let's do
Okay.
this. We'll
Will
start.
we? Are you going to share your screen for the YouTube
I'm gonna
audience, or
share. I'm gonna share the screen. I think that is a good idea. That's why we pay you the big bucks, Lauren Rouse. Um. So here's the list. It's long.
all right?
Um. Let's do it. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna hit pick a random name, and then we'll start the top 10. Let's go. The first one is Knack
Ugh,
2. Lauren, we baited, we tempted fate. I was worried that Knack would come up here in some way. Where do you
A game
think
I've
that this
never
is?
played. I know I have zero. I know that you and Tom joke about it all the time.
Mhm. I will say that Knack is probably in the bottom 5% of this list. I think Knack 1 is a much worse game than Knack 2. Knack 2 is actually pretty okay. Um, I think it's either 9 or 10. I just don't know if we want to fill a spot, like fill 10 right away.
Yeah. But then what if there's a better game that comes along? And then we have to put it in 10.
That's fair. So if you here's what I would ask. If we want to tempt the god that is Knack, and we think that, hey, like
Knack
I'm
1
worried
comes
Knack
up.
1 is going to come up.
Okay.
But if
But
we
then what
want
if
to
it
put our
doesn't?
faith, if we want to put our faith in a Knack and the powers that be, maybe this is it.
Hmm.
Maybe from the rest from here on out, it's only bangers.
I think it'll be the funniest joke if Knack comes up again. So let's put it in 10. And then if we get it
Okay.
again, we've done this to ourselves.
Okay. Knack 2 is in the number 10 spot. Oh man, that doesn't feel good. I'm scared. I'm gonna hit pick a
It's
random
removing
name.
names as you go, right?
No, I have to go in and delete them.
Oh, okay.
Shadow of the Colossus remake. Interesting. Very
Versus
interesting.
not remade? Is there a not remade version?
There is. So
Oh,
the
I'm here.
Shadow of the Colossus, the original's from PlayStation 2. The
Oh,
remake is a
okay.
PlayStation 4 game made by Bluepoint.
Hmm. Well, I haven't played this. I know Tom was playing
A
recently.
wonderful game.
Yeah.
Wonderful is a weird way to actually describe that. It's a very harrowing game. It's an amazing game. I don't know if it might be top. I think it's top 5. I don't know if it's top
Top
3.
5?
I think it's top 5. It's
No,
really
no.
good. It's like a 10 out of 10.
I'll meet you in the middle somewhere.
6?
All right. Agreed.
Okay. Shadow of the Colossus remake sits at 6.
It's hard
Okay,
when we
we have
both haven't played some of these.
I know. That's what I'm worried about, but that's okay. It's all
Mm.
part of the exercise. We will hit pick a random name, and it will be Marvel's
Oh,
Spider-Man 2018. What a year.
I
I think
mean,
this
this
is top
was,
5.
yeah. It's just, again, if Spider Man 2 comes up or Miles Morales comes up, like, how do you rank them internally? I think
Hmm.
Spider Man 2 is my favorite out of the three games. So if that came up, it would have to go higher than Spider Man. But
I
what
think
do you think?
Spider-Man 1 might be my least favorite of the 3.
Okay. So do we hedge our bets and put it at like 4?
4 or 5? I think so. But then yeah, no, because think about just PlayStation's output. PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, we have things like you can see on the list right now if you're watching on YouTube, Uncharted 4, Last of Us,
Mm-hmm.
God of War, like these amazing games. I think that there is more amazing than there is like not great. So if we want to put and Marvel Spider-Man, I would say is like so close to like it's like a 9 out of 10, but there are so many 10 out of 10s here. So
Yeah,
if we wanted to put it at like 4 or 5, I don't think that it's going to harm us in any way.
I know, but there's just so many on there that I'm like, please don't come up. Like everybody's golf,
Everybody's Golf rocks. Everybody's Golf is an amazing game.
but is it in the same league as Spider Man?
I think it's better than Spider-Man.
Wow, Klein. We
Everybody's
exist
Golf is
in
an
different
awesome
lands.
game. Oh my goodness. But if Everybody's Golf came up,
Concord.
I think
What if
it's like
Concord shows up?
oh my god. I played Concord.
Sorry, Concord,
And
but you just
Concord's
didn't have
fun.
it. We didn't have enough time to play you.
I don't know if you saw the news this week, but PlayStation opened a new um, first party
Yes, I
studio
thought
for the
about
first
talking
time.
about this. Yeah.
And it's being headed up by Jason Blundell, who's one of the creators of the Call of Duty Zombies franchise. And I saw some people like responding to it going, what could a like like high pedigree shooter studio do at PlayStation? And everyone was like, Concord. Concord.
They're bringing yeah. Okay. I think I wanna put Spider-Man I'm thinking 3.
3.
Yep, but you can talk me down.
How does 4 sound?
Where are we up to? Okay, yeah.
We
Alright.
have Shadow of the Colossus at 6, Knack 2 at 10. I think
Okay.
Marvel Spider-Man is 4. Because Lauren, what if we get 3 Naughty Dog games here? All 3 of those Naughty Dog games are better than Spider-Man.
Well, to us. And we're deciding at the end of the day.
We are deciding, yeah. No,
All
we're the
right.
ones on the microphone. Okay.
What is next?
Days
Oh,
Gone.
I haven't played this.
I have played a grand total of maybe 90 minutes of Days Gone and was like, this is not for me. I think that I don't want to say 9, maybe 8. I think this is an 8.
It could be an 8. I think I
Okay.
agree.
They're never going to get to do it again. They're never going to get to follow up on it. There were some good ideas in Days Gone, but like it wasn't for me.
This is
Okay.
so stressful. I didn't realize
I
how
know.
stressful this would be.
I need to find it on the list now and delete it. Okay, here we go. There we go.
All right.
Next is Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh my god, it's like
It's
I would
top
almost put it
2.
at number 1 if I had finished it, but maybe 2.
Mm, yeah,
Because I'm just
I
like
could do
something might
2.
come along.
I could do 2. I know. I don't think it's number 1. I think it's top 3 for sure. It's better than
I
Spider-Man.
probably put Ghost at 2, and then just because it'll be, and then in case we end up with something bad, it's not bad. None of these are bad. It's just, less.
Knack 2's bad.
You said it, not
I,
me.
yeah, I am pretty confident in saying that Knack 2 is not
All right, so
good.
we have 2 Ghost of Tsushima, 4 Marvel Spider-Man, 6 Shadow of the
Hmm.
Colossus, 8 Days Gone, 10 Knack 2. We have to start filling in some odd numbers.
Very strategic with this. So we've got plenty of room to play with if we need to. Next,
Okay.
it will be Little Big Planet 3.
Well, I've never
Do
played
you
this.
have do you have any history with Little Big Planet at all?
Is that the one with Sackboy?
Yeah.
I know him from PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale.
Okay. I was really into Little Big Planet 1 and 2. Little Big Planet 3 kind of fell off for me. Um I would it's not the best game from that team. I think 7,
I think 9.
9. Worse than Days Gone.
Well, I've never played.
You can Lauren, hmm.
When God of War comes up and we have to put it in 9, I'm going to be so annoyed.
But we won't. We're gonna have we're if right now we're debating between 7 and 9. We're not like
Yeah. I mean, from my standpoint, I think I would enjoy Days Gone more than I would Little Big Planet, but
I
I
don't
haven't
think you
played either.
would.
Well, you don't know me.
You had so much fun with Astrobot.
True.
And Little Big Planet 3 shares some DNA with Astrobot.
So really, it should be an 8 because we can't decide.
Days Gone's already there.
The way this draft is going, we are not getting all of the good ones.
We might get what do you mean? We've gotten Ghost of Tsushima. That's great. That's fantastic. We've had Marvel Spider-Man. That's really good.
All
The
right.
Shadow of the Colossus remake's really good. I think
It's
Little
on the
Big Planet.
record
I think
if
Little
this
Big
goes
Planet
wrong.
7. I can okay, 9. If it's going to if 9. Little Big Planet's in 9. That hurts me. Sorry, Sackboy.
It's still out of 10. Like, there's so many games that are not going to make it on this list.
I know. Okay, so we have that bottom 3, Days Gone 8, Little Big Planet 3 at 9, and Knack 2 at 10.
Can't believe Knack came up.
Astro's Playroom.
Oh no, it's not Astrobot.
It's still really good.
It is good. I would say
5?
5.
Yeah. That's kind of where this is the tech demo. It's amazing. If we had not gotten Astrobot proper,
Yeah.
I probably would try and get it higher, but like it's Astro's Playroom just It's so good. The
Yeah.
music to Astro's Playroom is really good, but I think 5 is good. Okay.
My seat here. Did you get rid of Astros?
I am about to. I should have done these in alphabetical order. I'm so sorry if you're listening to this at home and not watching it because we're just like taking these long gaps and like pondering our decisions. We have how many? 3 spots left. I'm afraid.
All right.
Uncharted: The Lost
Oh
Legacy.
no. Okay. Well, why couldn't
3?
it have been? Well, actually, I was going to say, why couldn't it be an Uncharted game that I've played, but none of them in this generation I've played?
Yeah. Uncharted: Lost Legacy rocks. It's really good. I'm
Is it better
excited
than
for us
Marvel
to play it on
Spider-Man?
the podcast. I think it's better than Marvel Spider-Man. I think
Wow.
you
Okay.
specifically, Lauren, will really like the Lost Legacy, that Uncharted game in particular when we do
Hmm.
get to it, because
Yeah,
we've
I know
done
you
the
played
first
the
3.
girls.
It's also like a much tighter experience than like Uncharted 4 gets kind of opens up a bit. It gets kind of wide and it's
Sure.
really good, but there's a lot of it. Lost Legacy is like a fantastic weekend. It's I think it's like 8 hours long maybe. It feels much more like the first 3 games, but it's I really like Lost Legacy. It might be some of my favorite Uncharted, but 3
You
sounds
think
pretty
three?
good.
All
I
right.
do. Oh my goodness. We only have 2 spots
This
left.
could go so wrong for
I
us, but
know, I
that is the
know.
game.
We the knack and I'm not regretting decisions, but we'll see what happens. Ratchet and Clank 2016.
Ugh. Again, I didn't play that one. I played Rift Apart. Yeah, it's 7. We're hedging our
7.
bets with number 1 here. We have
Oh
no idea.
god.
We're at the
Oh
mercy of the
god.
list.
Oh
But yeah.
no.
So the list as it stands is we don't have number 1. We have 2 Ghost of Tsushima, 3 Uncharted Lost Legacy, 4 Marvel Spider-Man, 5 Astro's Playroom, 6 Shadow of the Colossus, 7 Ratchet and Clank 2016, 8 Days Gone, 9 Little Big Planet 3, and 10 Knack 2.
There's
So,
a single PS5 game on here, and that's Astro's
yeah.
Playroom.
Yeah, that's weird. So maybe we'll get one next. I think when we opened this to all PS4 games as well, it got the list got long.
Yeah,
So the
because the
original
PlayStation
bracket,
list was 16.
I think it, yeah, and it highlighted heavily in PS5's favor. Um, but this is the game.
Here we go. Our number 1 game, whether we like it or not. Uncharted 4. I'm okay with
Okay.
that. I'm okay with that.
You said that
Uncharted
Lost Legacy was better than 4.
It is, but Uncharted 4 like it's like picking your children, Lauren, okay? Like it's
Ghost should
still
have
a
been
10 out
1.
of 10. You should have put
Okay.
Ghost. Lauren, you'll play Uncharted 4 and you'll really like it. I just think you'll like Lost Legacy more.
Okay. Listen, it's fine. At least it's not Knack. So I'm happy with
Mhm.
anything that wasn't Knack
Yes.
or
I
everybody's
think
fault.
that looking at where it could have gone, we could have had Drive Club at number 1, and I would not have been able to live if Drive Club was sitting at the number 1 of this list. This list isn't awful. Looking at
No.
it, it's
I
like
think if we were to do this again, we probably should have gone through and picked games that we had actually played because it would have been really hard to pick. Because there's some here that's like, well, we haven't played that, so we're just going to put it low,
how many games on this list have you played, Lauren, out of the 10?
Out of the 10,
Yeah.
3.
Really? What's the third
Yeah.
one? Oh, Playroom.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, Ghost, and Playroom. Okay.
So, like, it was very
I
difficult.
have I think I've touched all 10, but I haven't finished all 10. The list is at number 10, Knack 2. That feels right. At number 9, Little Big Planet 3, Justice for Sackboy. Oh, my light died. Uh, at number 8, Days Gone. At number 7, Ratchet and Clank 2016. At number 6, Shadow of the Colossus Remake. Number 5, Astro's Playroom. Number 4, Marvel's Spider-Man. Number 3, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Number 2, Ghost of Tsushima. And number 1, Uncharted 4. I just want to hit random one more time and just see what would
Let's
have
see what it
happened.
would have been. Yeah.
Killzone Shadowfall, thank
Okay,
God.
thank God.
Okay, that is The PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 first party blind
Do we
ranking.
want to do a second one?
I don't think so because we're going to talk about some games. We're going to talk
Okay.
about comment corner. I think that this is good. We're sitting here, I think 40 minutes in. I just want to ask you one last time, Lauren. Do you feel okay with this list?
Well, like
It,
I said, I think if we were doing it over again, it would have been more entertaining to have games that we were all very invested in because it would make the decisions a lot harder. But I am, on the whole, I think we escaped pretty well in this ranking. Like with what we were given, I think they're in pretty much the right order.
If you want to let us know what you think of this, you totally can, and just you can rip it apart when we put it up
Yes.
on social media. Please do. Ryan Cortero, I know you're listening. I'm looking at you. Let us know. Let's get into what we've been playing this week. It is a big week in the world of video games. It's I guess like the first week in 2025 that I have a new 2025 game that I'm actually playing. So
Mm-hmm.
that's fun and exciting. Have you touched the game is Assassin's Creed Shadows. Have you touched Assassin's Creed Shadows at all? We talked yesterday and you said that you were hoping to.
Yes, I've turned it on and I've played through, I would say, the prologue. Maybe? I don't know.
Have you
You're
gotten
going
the
to say,
title card yet?
have I? Maybe I haven't.
Okay.
I'm not very far in. Let's be real. But I've touched it. I've played as both characters. Um, the problem I have is that, I mean, firstly, I fell asleep while I was playing because your girl's tired. But also, the way my this is a bit of too much information, but the way my gaming is set up right now is that I use a projector to play, so I can't really play during the daytime. So I was playing a bit this morning while it was still dark, and then as it was getting brighter, I was like, I can't see where the enemies are, so I had to turn it off. So blame daylight, I guess.
What do you think so far? Early impressions, just like you've barely gotten to touch it, but you can form an opinion, I'm sure.
My impression so far is that it is exactly like every other Assassin's Creed game that I've played. I haven't gotten in. I think once I get into the open world part of it and the missions, I'll get more of a feel. And particularly playing as Yasuke and Naue, I want to like see more of their differences. Definitely on the initial playthrough, as each of them, they're very different. I think I'm leaning towards Yasuke's playstyle, definitely in combat.
Oh,
In combat,
okay.
for stealth, now is doing a lot better right now, but I haven't had a chance to play as Yasuke in stealth. Um, just because I think in this like Assassin's Creed combat has never really been my favorite part of the game because I think it's more of a stealth game versus a combat game. Like even in Valhalla and Valhalla, I think the combat was pretty good because you could just come in swinging with your axe and your shield and things like that. Odyssey was a little bit trickier, I think, in combat. I found it a lot harder. And so I'm hoping that as I go through the combat in Shadows is a bit of a balance of both. Um, but it has been usually like my least favorite part of the games is just getting into fights, and so far I've experienced like 3 of them. So I'm like let's get to the assassinating guys.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about it so far?
I think, maybe 4 hours in. I have played as both characters. I don't, I have not been given the option to pick up Yasuke again. I think, start as I guess, light spoiler, start as Yasuke. Um, and you don't play for him for very long, or play as him for
Mm.
very long. And then you instantly go into Nawe's story. And I am I'm completely hooked on this game, more so than I was on Odyssey, more so than I was on Valhalla, and even I think more so than I was on Origins at this point. Origins is the last one that I really like sunk my teeth into deeply. For some reason, Valhalla became very overwhelming. The second I
Mm.
got into that open world, I was like, there is way too much to do. I don't know what's important and what isn't. I was just like, okay, I'll live in this world and it's like kind of find my way to objectives and things like that. And even doing that, it felt like it just never really gripped me. Odyssey, I had a similar problem. I started that game, got a couple hours in, and was just like, I this feels way too big. There's
Yeah.
something about Shadows, and I think that this setting is doing a lot for me. But there's something about the way that Shadows open world works. It's big, but it's not too big. It's got icons on the map like any Ubisoft game, but not too many icons. I am in love with Nawe. I think that she's like such a great character. The where her story goes very early on is like so fantastic. And I'm just like, I haven't felt like I needed one of these games in a very long time, but like just last night, I'm sitting playing, and Gabby doesn't really come and sit and watch me play games at all. She because I'm awful at playing games where I'm looking at around every corner and like not progressing anything. But she was just like sitting on the couch watching me and just like exist in this world. I wasn't doing any missions. I was just like, oh, I'll go over here and oh, I found a cave. Let's go into this cave. And oh, I got some cool loot. Let's come out. I'll go to the next kind of like eagle point and synchronize. And I can see myself just like existing in this world for a very long time in a way that I couldn't for some of the other games. I do like the combat a lot. I think I actually like Nawe's combat more. She is a lot. I haven't played a lot of Yasuke. He is kind of like a freight train in
He's
combat.
a tank.
He moves very slowly, but he just wrecks shop everywhere you go. Whereas Nawe is like very nimble and quick, and you can come in and out of stealth. It's funny you mentioned the projection, your projection issue, because like I'm playing on TV and I'm having a hard time playing it in daylight because
Oh no.
it's a beautiful world. It's absolutely incredibly rendered. I think that it might be like the forests are so incredibly dense. I've never seen a game with like trees this close together, but it is called Assassin's Creed Shadows, and one of the big things in this game is being able to like hide in shadows. And because I have a nice TV with HDR where it's like the lights are super light and the darks are super dark, it can be really hard to see things in the dark. So like I'm
Interesting.
find myself like I was in this cave last night. I was like igniting every light source I could find just so I could see where I had to go.
Yeah.
Um, but it's like it's beautiful. I mean, I didn't dive into Valhalla as deeply as I think some other people did. I didn't play Mirage at all, but like just coming back to this formula, I think that like Star Wars Outlaws kind of was trying to do something like this last year, but
Mhm.
when the Ubisoft formula works, it really works on me, and I'm like head over heels with this thing so far.
Well, just to your point about getting into Odyssey and Valhalla, so just looking at how long to beat, Odyssey's main story was just the main story was 45 and a half hours to complete the main campaign. Valhalla's was 61. I didn't finish either of those games because I did get to the point where I was like, I'm exhausted of being here. Despite enjoying myself in the game, I was just like, particularly also, and I'll ask you this, but before I go into that, hang on. And then Shadows, which has only been out for a few days, so the timing isn't like 100%, but people are reporting 30 hours. That is achievable. That is reasonable. That is the size it should be, in my opinion. Some people do that I know do love spending heaps of time in these worlds and checking off literally everything and going like 100 plus hours. That's so fine. But I think for people who just want a good story and like a campaign, just to do the campaign, like 30 hours should be your maximum, I think. And then, yeah, fill out the world with things to do for the completionists. But for main story progression, I think you should be keeping it to that length. Personally, I think that's the happy medium. And my main problem with Odyssey and Valhalla was the level gating, where that you actually couldn't move forward in the story until you'd reach certain levels, which forced you to go and do other things. Is that back here, to your
That is
knowledge?
present here. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. However,
Ubisoft.
something you can do in this game, that I've seen some people turn on is you can turn on instant assassinations. So it's a one hit, you can one hit kill any enemy in the game.
Oh, thank God.
But that also means that they, if they're a much higher level than you, like they can also one hit kill you. But if you want to turn that on to like go into these like harder areas, you totally can.
Mm,
I haven't turned it on yet. I'm thinking about it though, because like today I was like slinking through a castle. I take everyone out. I'm being super sneaky, and I get to the guy who's at like the head of the castle, and I get up behind him. I have it all planned out. I go to assassinate him, and he grabs me and like turns me in front of him because he was just like too high of a level for me to instant kill him. And then
yeah,
I get
that
in a sword
frustrates
fight.
me.
But
It's a
I
hidden
do
blade. If you
like
put it through their neck, they're dead.
Exactly. I do like the combat when I am getting into the sword fights though. I For some reason the parry in this game, I think it helps that they do like a little like glimmer to show you when you need to parry. I can hit it almost every time. So I'm playing not on the hardest difficulty, but I am playing on normal. I'm playing in English, but I did
Hmm.
switch it over for a little bit to the immersive mode, which is
Yeah,
where
that's cool.
it's very cool. It's like a mix of Portuguese and like it's just whatever the native speaker would speak. That's what they're speaking, Portuguese and Japanese. And I was really liking that. I think the performances are great. The facial capture in this game is like some of the best I've ever seen. Like some of the Nawe's faces, I'm like, I'm just watching an actress perform. Like this is absolutely incredible. So I just got to one of the parts of the game. One of the big main mechanics is a hideout that you kind of build out, and it's like very Animal Crossing. You're like placing buildings, and but each thing you
That's
build
cool.
kind of grants you like new abilities or like upgrades and things like
That
that.
was
So I
kind of
just
present in Valhalla as well, I think.
what
You had your
was
your
it?
your camp.
I don't remember
Yeah.
that at all.
You had to build
Um,
buildings and things, but it's probably more in depth now. I've heard you can have pets, which is cool.
yeah, I think I'm unlocking pets because you can pet every dog in the game, like
As you
everyone you come
should.
across. And when you do, I'm getting little icons with rarity associated to it. Like there's like legendary, epic, uncommon, and it has just a picture of the pet and the breed's name. And so I think I'm like unlocking breeds of pets I can bring to my hideout, which I love. I love. I unlocked a
Love
legendary
that
puppy
too.
today, and I was like, this is it. This is fantastic.
That will definitely I think that will hook me because a lot of the reason that I was playing Hogwarts Legacy was so that I could have pets, and I would just feed them all the time. So I think I'll probably get really sucked into that once I'm into it. Um, I think probably one of the main challenges I'm gonna have with this game is that I have really recently come off playing Ghost of Tsushima, which I'm not finished, and I was actually tossing up whether to go back and finish that before I played this. But for recency, I wanted to get into this first. And I think Ghost of Tsushima is just so good. Like as we just talked about, it is like the upper echelon, and like I think that this was never going to be that. And so the struggle is that when the combat and the world and everything in that is just so much better, moving to this kind of just feel like a bit of like, oh, it's just like, the bargain copy of the game. But I'm interested, I think, in particular to play between the two characters and see how that works because that is the main differentiator for me in this game.
I think you're going to be waiting a while. From what I've heard, it's like 15 hours before
Do
you
you get to
get,
Yasuke?
yeah.
Okay.
So it's
Great.
going to be a little bit. I'm just
It's
like,
gonna be such
I
a shock
actually,
when you change all the mechanics to a new character.
when I jumped from Yasuke to Nawe, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna like I felt so overpowered as Yasuke. I'm like, I'm not gonna like this other character. I actually am kind of we'll see where I go with Yasuke and his story. I actually kind of feel am kind of like, man, I wish this was just a Nawe game. Like just like knowing that there's another protagonist, I'm like so invested with this character right now that I'm kind of like, how am I going to feel when
Mm,
they reintroduce this other one? They do a very cool thing here with it's almost like they do this in Tears of the Kingdom a little bit with these like flashback points you can get to, and it will give you pieces of the story from like a time before you're playing the game. And there are those in this game for, I guess, each main character. And you kind of go to like a meditation point and you meditate, and then it sends you back to a flashback. And I'm really liking those. Like I've been kind of seeking those out and doing those. I haven't really pushed the story forward at all. Once they opened it up to
okay.
the open world, it's just such a beautiful world. I think it is a little bit different than Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima was very like very traditionally Japanese, and I think that this game is as well, but even in like the music and like the stylistic choices and things like that, but there are moments in this game where I'm like, "Oh, like you guys are going for something different here." Like there's a very early a part that you were probably close to where like electric guitar starts playing and there's like a vocal track like playing over instead of this like classical Japanese music, and it's kind of like, oh, like you are mixing in this kind of like Quentin Tarantino feel almost, and it works really well, and you get some like abilities as you go forward that are very kind of Kill Bill esque and well as well. And I'm liking that. I wasn't expecting it, but today, like, I was playing a mission where it happened. Gabby from the other room is like, "What? Like, are you playing Shadows?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she like comes out, and yeah, there's like electric guitar play like blaring, and all of this like awesome samurai action happening. Like this is sick. Like this is cool. This is different. This is not what I was expecting from this game. I was actually humming and hawing about whether I wanted to pick it up or not because there has been so much, oh, Ubisoft this, Ubisoft that. Star Wars Outlaws didn't really like connect with me super deeply. but right off the bat, right when I got into the open world, I'm like, oh, I am in. Like I will maybe not see this game through, but like I am good for at least 25 hours of this game of just like exploring the world and finding new loot. You're getting enough loot that it's like not too much. Like I think it was Odyssey. Everyone dropped like
Yeah.
new gear. This you're getting like meaningful upgrades slowly over time. It doesn't feel like it's too slow. I mean, I'm only 4 hours in. It could completely change, but like early on, I feel like, okay, I've gotten like a new hood and a new sword and a new kind of like armor set, but nothing really more than that. It's just kind of like slowly doling out some like good upgrades and making them feel more meaningful as opposed to like I have 46 legendary swords and shields and I don't know what to do with any of them.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, if you liked Valhalla and Odyssey, you're gonna like this. It is the same bread and butter. There's a few meaningful upgrades, like it's a finessing of the format, which is great in certain ways. But at its core, it's the same as these others. So yeah, it would make sense that we who have liked those previous games are gonna like this one as well. I was just gonna quickly bring up, I don't know how often it appears in up to where you are, but the Abstergo storyline, which we spent a lot of time on last week in the movie, very minimal so far, which I am liking. There's this kind of like from the get go, this kind of strange mystery that you might be solving. Um, it seems like because you don't even know who you are, I guess, suppose perhaps you are the player this time. But it's not really, I think I'm not going to go into any spoilers by saying it's right in the opening of the game that Abstergo has become this kind of like enjoy these like like immerse yourself in these virtual
Go to a
reality.
beach.
But then there's kind of some glitches and someone saying like this isn't what you think it is. So you're kind of guided by this voice and you don't really know who they are. And I'm kind of into that because previously when it's like chopping and changing between like here are your external characters and you're pulled out of the game to talk to them and then you go back into the animus. I've never really been a huge fan of that. And so this is kind of it's hooking me more and I'm like more willing to entertain the Abstergo storyline.
Speaking of Sturgo, how did you feel when you booted up this game for the first time and you're in like an Assassin's Creed launcher? Like,
Yes, they've talked
like
about this.
there was
Like
that
that this was
Assassin's
coming.
Creed Infinity thing years ago that they talked
That's
about.
right.
I don't think that this is that, but like, yeah, you boot up the game for the first time and it's like, here's a timeline, and I thought, oh, I can scroll through and like see the story so far,
Yeah, I
whatever.
thought
It's
it would
like,
be a
no,
recap. It
this
launches
is
the game.
yeah, you can open up Assassin's Creed Odyssey right from here if you have it downloaded,
Mm.
or Valhalla or wherever. I think that's interesting. Like, I don't know. It kind of just was like, huh. I guess this is where we are now.
I think that's what they were going for with that Assassin's Creed Infinite thing. I don't know if that's still coming out, but this is what I was picturing when they were talking about that. It's just a place where here's all the games, here's all the characters, here's all the timelines, here's where they sit in chronological order. That's kind of cool. But yeah, so far, I mean, it's a small thing. I do think they could do more with it. Like I was, like I said, expecting to maybe like, oh, I can get a recap of the story from the previous game, but that wasn't there. It was just like go play the game. So if they kind of add some of those elements to it, I think that would be cool to have like a bit more of a chronological like timeline to be able to place yourself. Like if I could just see a recap of the Abstergo storyline from last time, so I know what's happening, that would be nice. Or from Eivor's story, because yeah, I never finished it, so I don't know what happened. Not that it really bears any relevancy on this story, but if it does, it would be useful to have that.
Mhm. The last thing I will say is if you are going to play this game and you open up for the first time and it asks, do you want to play in canon mode? Say no. that that essentially
Yeah.
turns off dialogue choices. And while that might mean like, okay, that means in the main cutscenes I won't be able to go like, oh, I want to fight or say nothing or whatever. It also turns off like there's some relationship building stuff in this game where you can like romance characters and things like that. If you have canon mode on, those choices are just gone and you can never select the option to like romance a character if that's something you're into. So I think it's just called just regular. Pick that. You can do your choices. It's not super big deal. I do have a minor gripe with the choices. I wish they would have what was said by the character right before I'm picking the choice, right above the choice. There's a conversation log that you can go into, but once it's been
Right.
said and the choice comes up on screen, you have no idea what has been said if you were looking away for a second.
So you got to
Um,
pay attention. Don't
like
skip the
what
dialogue.
am I agreeing to right now?
Yeah. Yeah, that's on us.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I would recommend it though. Just like at least very early on, if you're into it, definitely dive in. Have you been playing anything else, Lauren?
Split Fiction, still going. Still a delightful game.
Movie coming.
I nearly talked about that in the news, but we don't really know enough about it. But yes, it was announced that there will be a movie, which I'm interested to see. Like the story is interesting, it is fun, it is crazy, but when you're not playing it, I am interested to see how it translates on screen. But it's the game is delightful. And yeah, the friends who I'm playing with, we like to make fun of the characters because it's easy to like sometimes hate on them and their dialogue and things like that. But I think it's serving its purpose and it's just very, very fun. It's just you just never know what each little world you're going into is going to give you, and it's makes it very exciting.
Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it. How far do you think, like, are you halfway through? How long have you played? I guess would be a better measurement because you
I
don't
don't
really
know how
know.
long the game is. Just checking. Oh, 12 hours apparently is how long it takes. I would say I'm maybe like maybe halfway. Yeah, it's hard to say because really the structure of the game is like we're going into one character's world, which is the sci-fi, and then we're swapping and we're going into the fantasy for a little bit. And I am enjoying like the characters' interactions develop as we're going. And at the moment, you can choose to change characters if you want to, but because each have different abilities. But so far, we've been sticking to our same characters because I think on a replay, it could be fun to go and play as the other one the entire time. Um, but yeah, I would say we're probably halfway.
Excellent. Cool. I'm excited to hear as you get further. I don't know how much with your parents coming to
Yeah.
Canada. Don't know how much Split Fiction will end up getting played, but I'm excited to hear as it goes because I've heard that like gameplay wise, it's just like absolutely
But the
fantastic.
ending is amazing too. So I'm really trying to get to it before I get it spoiled somehow.
Interesting. I like it. Okay. That's what we've been playing. We'll jump over to comment corner and then we'll get out of here. Almost called it comic corner. We don't have that on this show. Comment corner is the part of the show where we dive into the comments from you, the listeners. You can chime in over on Spotify. There's a comment section. Follow us on social media or right here on the YouTube video. If you're watching on YouTube, leave us a comment below. Last week, we asked the question during our Assassin's Creed movie review in 2025 in honor of Assassin's Creed Shadows coming out. We dove into the 2016 Assassin's Creed movie. And we asked, what era of Assassin's Creed do you want to see, and what did you think of the movie? We got a couple comments over on YouTube. One from Ryan Cortero, our homie. He said that AC Shadows will be the first Assassin's Creed game he's played since Assassin's Creed 3, and I'm really excited for the different play styles between Naue and Yasuke. He says, I'd be interested to see a Prohibition era AC game. I think the noir style would be a fun atmosphere. That sounds really cool. Like in
Yeah, it does sound cool.
1950s New York. That's when Prohibition was happening, right? Am I crazy? Like mafia times.
Yeah.
Um, and like New York City would be very cool.
Yeah, that would be like the most modern Assassin's Creed game that we would have gone. I think that's the furthest. The furthest they've gotten, I think, is Black Flag or 3.
No, what about like Industrial Revolution,
Which one was
England,
that?
Syndicate? I think
This is
that
why
would be
there's
the
a
most
timeline
recent.
in the new
Yeah.
game. But anyway, yeah, it would be cool to see them push a little bit more into the modern, but then you don't want it to ride too close to games like Mafia or um, Gangs of London and things like that.
I think that would be really cool. Prohibition era, dive in there. I've always thought like a World War II or like World War One era Assassin's Creed game could be really cool. That's awesome. Thank you so much for commenting, Ryan. And we have one from Rob Zem M5J. He said, I actually liked the Assassin's Creed movie. It wasn't amazing or anything, but it was all right. I'm
Fair
happy
enough.
for you, Rob.
Yeah.
I won't take a good thing away from you then. This week's question, if you want to chime in, will be, what is the best PS4 or PS5 exclusive in your eyes? We did our ranking. I want to see yours. What is your favorite? You can let us know in the comments below here on YouTube, over on Spotify, or on social media, where you can also chime in on our New Game Plus Video Game Book Club Game of the Month. For March, we are each playing a different game. We are taking our 2024 Hindsight Games, which was an award we gave out during our Game Awards last year, a game that we missed in 2024. I am playing Metaphor Refantasio. Tom is playing Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and Lauren is playing Balatro. So if you've played any of those or all of those, you can chime in on those over on social media, which is at Controller Club Pod on Instagram and Blue Sky, at Controller_Club on Twitter, and at Controller.club on TikTok. Also, as I've been mentioning, we are on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, hello, please hit the bell, hit the thumbs up, leave us a comment, do all the things. If you aren't watching on YouTube, head on over, leave us a subscription or subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. And if you're listening on podcast services around the globe, rate, review us. It really helps out. We're fighting the algorithm. We're doing our best, but we need your help if we want to ever, make it to the top of the charts. Lauren, that's going to do it for the episode. Where can people keep up with you if they want to specifically get all the Lauren Rouse updates over the next little while?
You can follow me at lrouse19, mostly on Blue Sky these days, but yeah, on Twitter and TikTok. Not too much to promote right now because I'm getting ready to go away. I mentioned my parents are visiting me here in Canada, so I'll be off traveling with them, but I might post some cool pictures if there's anything awesome that I see. Please look after my otters in the absence. Someone check on them on the YouTube cam.
Springtime is here. They won't be cold anymore, so it'll be fine. It'll be good.
We're having second winter right now. I'm wearing the beanie.
Are you? Is it cold? Oh, it's beautiful here. I think it's supposed to be like 17 degrees in the next couple of days. Like springtime has sprung. The flowers are out. The cherry blossoms are going to come out there soon, and it'll be beautiful. You can keep up with me everywhere. I'm at the Kleinfeld, mostly over on Blue Sky, also on Twitter and Instagram as well. That's going to wrap up this episode of Controller Club as always. Thank you so much for listening. Now, let's get gaming.